Hi, I'm Eric, and welcome to my TED Talk. So, communication is the base of society. As you know, we use communication in our early life. Since we are kids, we start developing our communication. So, we use our communication for everything, and okay, we need the communication for everything. But are we actually communicating? Are we using communication the way that is intended? So, I found this quote of a very wise man that said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something." Okay? Analyze this quote. This says, wise people have something to say. They have something to communicate. They have a message that they want to transmit. Fools only talk because they have to, not because. So, the first question that I want to make you today is, am I a fool that only needs to talk, or do I have something to say? But how can I talk about communication if I haven't stated what communication is? So, communication is a process by which individuals exchange information, and this information is exchanged through a common system. It can be either symbols or orally. So, just like everything in this life has an objective, the objective of communication is to transmit a message, to make the message go clear, and to make the other person to understand this message. Most of the problems of relationships nowadays are based on communication, and I think that this is no new thing. Problems in communication have existed since early days when we were going through our evolution. We developed our communication first to survive and then to communicate, to create new things and collaborate with other persons. But most of the problems that people have in a relationship come from communication, from a message that was misunderstood or for something that we weren't supposed to say. It comes to my mind the wise words of my mother that says, she always said to me that you have to think before you talk. And I think that people nowadays don't think before talking. They just talk like if it was a natural reaction. And this is when the quote that I first stated takes place. Are you a fool, or do you have something to say? The communication is not only work from the one who talks, it's also from the one who listens. But to explain this better, I want to tell you a short story. Every year of school, I have to work on projects, just like everyone. These school projects requires teams. In these teams, I usually select my brothers, my friends, my mates, okay? And you maybe you're wondering, why would you choose your mates instead of other people? I choose them because of communication. Why communication, you may say? Because with my mates I have the best communication and I have fun. And with my mates I know that I can tell them something and I know that they're going to listen and they're going to understand what I'm saying. That if they have a doubt, they're going to ask me clearly and I'm going to understand this doubt. You may be asking, but why don't you choose anyone else? I don't choose the one with that I have rough times, because communication is going to be hard, because communication is going to be cutted, because communication is going to be misunderstood, it's going to have a lot of problems. And I have seen this in many other teams that select people due to their abilities and not from their communication aspects, you know? Not because sometimes there are groups that have the most marvelous people, but they end up hating each other because they don't have the clear communication that they needed in order to develop this project, to develop this product. So I want you to understand this. The communication does not only depends on the one who talks, but to the ones at their surroundings that listens. There are three main things that I want you to remember today. First, message have to be well transmitted. Second, message have to be well received. And three, you have to follow steps 1 and 2 in order to have good communication. Okay? Your life is going to be so much easier if you communicate the proper way. And you may be asking, okay, you've been talking about communication, you've been telling us a lot of stories, a lot of blah blah yada yada and stuff, but how do we actually improve our communication? So I'm going to start with the main factors to have good communication that are non-verbal communication, that is a key to good communication, and also the verbal communication. Non-verbal communication acts in active listening, that actually Skillsology has solved a main aspect from this, and it's active listening involves hearing and understanding what a person is saying to you. Unless you understand clearly what a person is telling to you, you cannot respond appropriately. Gain clarification by asking a question or refresh what you're being told, so that you're sure to fully understand the message that is being conveyed to you. The active listening, as here said, involves the understanding of the message. And this is a non-verbal way to communicate because you have to be with all your senses in order to understand this message. Active listening is very important for our daily life, and you can detect when someone is not listening to you. Why? Because their eyes are distracted, they do not look at you. Their hands, they're playing with their hands, they are not calm, they're not focused on what is going on. And also because they say something, they have these kind of comments in order to make everything different. Active listening does not require you to talk unless you have a doubt, in order to clarify things. So next time you have a communication, try to have active listening with someone and try to see how this listening, how the other person reacts to this active listening, and you're going to detect that the person is going to talk clearly and the message is going to be well received. One of the main factors of non-verbal communication is to have the proper body language, and this is due to three main factors that I have found. Okay, you have to put your hands on your body on a proper way. Why do I mean with a proper way? On a friendly tone and on a calm tone, in order to the other people to not feel threatened and be thinking if they have to run from you or to fight you. Okay, so you have to be calm, you have to transmit interest on your people. Also, you have to demonstrate that your attention is not divided, that this other person has your full attention and that is going to understand the message clearly. Okay, and then there's the verbal communication. Messages have to be clear, and a message is better if it's more simple. Messages that are simple are easier to understand. Have this in your mind. So as you can see, communication is more than just talking. Communication is more than just saying things randomly. Communication can help us in many ways that we can't imagine. It can help us to build empires, and it can help them to destroy empires. So next time you talk, I want you to remember the first quote that I have told you. Are you a fool, or do you have something to say? My name was Eric, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.